Welcome to Switch VO. My name is Marco, and today I want to make a new gig on Fiverr, specifically for producer tags. Producer tags are something that's super simple. It goes over, if you're unfamiliar with them, people make beats and then they sell beats to other people that want to rap or sing over them or whatever it is. So having that producer tag is just something that goes over the beat so you can still sample and listen to the music and get a vibe for it if you want to buy it, but people can't steal the audio that way. And actually, sometimes you even still hear producer beats in like DJ Khaled, I guess, is a good example of a well-known one, and there's others as well. But producer tags on Fiverr can be something that is super easy to do if you know your way around doing a little bit of, audio effects and stuff like that. Typically just some echoes and some reverse, whatever that's called, as it builds up into it. And there's some just kind of simple things that you can do. And again, it can be a simple job for you where you're just like saying a couple words. Now, granted, I don't want to take it away and act like there isn't an art to it. You still got to know what you're doing. You don't just sit there and be like, on the beat. You gotta spice it up. You gotta know how to say it, which way to say it, and which effects you're going to be using on it, which I plan on using quite a few today in my gig. I'm just going to try to have, I don't know how many, I don't have a goal of how many I want to have, but I want to have a good amount. You have 60 seconds to showcase your work and what you can do. So I'm going to show people what I can do. So now we're over here in Fiverr, because I think one of the first parts of ever really making any, when you're doing a new gig on Fiverr, is to kind of look at the competition. Not to necessarily copy what they're doing, but to understand maybe some of the norms and the things that work in a particular, field that you're going into. So producer tags is something I've been asked to do just on my regular, voiceover gigs. However, I don't have a specific gig for it, and it's really important to make as many gigs as you possibly can with specific functionality, because it's better, in the search terms and stuff like that. More people will find you. And again, if they're looking for a specific thing, if they're looking for a producer tag and they find my voiceover gig, it might not, maybe if they're not as creative, I guess I want to say, they couldn't hear the application of how to use my voice and make it into a producer tag. So putting exactly what a customer is looking for in front of their face is going to be the best way to sell your product. And so today we're going to listen to a few producer tags here, and also look into how they have their gigs set up, so that we know how to be competitive, I think is the best way to look at it. So let's see, this is the first person here. You can see how many times they've sold their gigs as well. Oh, that person has a lot. So let's check out this person first.
Damn, Focus. You made this?
I find that very surprising to be the number one, and it's a very, very short sample. Let's listen to some of the other ones, because again, for my strategy is I want to have multiple different types of tags and styles for people to pick from. So let's listen to a few others.
You are now watching MC Media.
Now there you see like some of the stutter. I forgot to mention that earlier on, but yeah, you gotta have show that you can do a stutter, because some people, it's just kind of a generic thing that exists in that world, in this industry. But a lot of effects on that one. Again, a really short sample. Seems to be doing quite well with it. This is Fiverr's choice. Let's check out this one.
Taylor on the beat. Botero, you did it. Never. Lucini, ATG. Lainey made it. John.
Alright, so there's a lot to unpack on that one. First thing being music, I guess. Which I don't know if I want to put music in mine yet. Again, presenting a proper application to your customers so that, again, because some people can't visualize something. I always think of this when I used to play bands, or in bands I used to play music, and I would come up with a guitar part or something, and I'd get looks and be like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm like, trust me, you play this on the drums, and you sing in this way or whatever. You put it all together, and it's gonna come out good. But like sometimes just an individual part of something, not everyone fully realizes your vision, I guess. And so even though this is pretty simple, it's just a producer tag on top of a beat. For some people, it really helps to have it on that music as well, so they really get a good sense of how it works, and how it's going to sound more so. Also, kind of a good thing with that is that you would also have a little bit of security, in that no one could just steal the audio off of your sample. Now granted, I plan on just saying things. Well, my Fiverr account is Switch36, so I want to be Switch 36 on the beat and stuff like that. I don't think anybody would steal that, but if you're just planning on maybe saying some more generic things, then it adds as a little bit of security so that people can't steal that from you. Another thing to say about this, and I guess this is slightly turned into a critique of others, but it's important to note when you're listening to these other people. Again, I'm not on here to steal any ideas or anything, but for example, when I listen to that almost seemed like too much of a rapid fire of a bunch of different tags, whereas the other ones were just one simple tag. Here it is, you know what you're in for, I guess. But this was like, I don't know, it just felt like an onslaught of different tags, and none too dissimilar from each other either. Again, if I'm going to have another tag in there on my gig, it's going to be a completely different style, so that people have more options. This one, I don't know, was kind of a headache on my ears, but I mean, she's Fiverr's choice, and she's doing quite well, so who am I to say? Now, before we get on to working on mine, we want to listen to one more. I want to do a male's voice, though, because so far I've done 3 female voices, and it's important to understand, while there are similar things within male and female voiceover, there can be differences, and so knowing kind of your limitations, and not just whether you have a male or female voice, knowing your limitations and what you can and can't do in general is important. So let's listen to this one as well.
Damn, Ryu, this shit banging. You wildin'. Give it to him, Morbid. Damn, Rico.
So that one had several different tags on it as well. More or less felt like 2 different styles. Him in a more high-pitched tone, kind of bit louder, and then one a lot closer and lower pitch, with a tiny little bit of gravel to his voice. So that really seemed like all that was going on there. So again, I kind of already have a vision of what I want mine to be like. I don't even entirely know what all the different types of voices. I have some ideas of some different voices and some different effects that I want to use. However, I don't see myself doing anything too similar to these. I do want to see, though, real quick, again, before we get into it, because, again, just know all aspects. So I saw that it was $10. Whoops, go away. Saw it was $10. However, I see that this tags aren't, like when I do my typical voiceover stuff, it's based on word count. However, tags, at least for this one, I'm going to check out some other ones as well, she has it set up in packages, because again, obviously you're not going to get huge word counts on tags. So let's check out, here we go, compare packages. So 10 is, for her, basic, is just a producer tag with sound effects, 3 different phrases. Okay, so you go from 3, 5 to 7 different phrases. They all have sound effects, multiple tone, that's on everything, variations of each. I assume that means, so even though, I don't know, that's a little confusing. Is it just 3 simple, I could probably go look at some of her orders, but whatever. Of each, oh, I didn't, Finish reading each producer tag. Effects included. Okay, so these seem basically all pretty much the same, except for just whether you want 3, 4 to 5, or 6 to 7 tags. So I'm going from $10 to $20. X that one out, and let's check this one, I guess. Again, just to get, and so she is also in packages, and then we are going to check the packages here. So $15, a tag with effects included. Again, so she's going to 1, 3 tags or 5 tags, and that's going from $15 to $35. So she actually offers less tags for more money. But again, everybody, you can charge whatever you want on here, and if people are going to pay it, people are going to pay it. But I'm just interested, and I think for me, again, I'm kind of setting this up just to be kind of an easy gig for me. For smaller orders, so I think starting with 1 tag and then I'll move my way up is how I will do it. Let's check out the guy, see how he has his set up. So it looks like, yeah, they're all set up as packages. Raw file, ooh, let's see that. So his raw file is $10. So dry audio, he's the first one I've seen, again, looking at a small sample size, the first one I've seen where there is no effects on the basic package. Great for the do-it-yourself musician, which is a good point. Some people that order from you know what effects they want to put on their thing, and other people, they just need it done. They need, from start to finish, and they want to be able to throw it on their beat. But, that being said, you're selling to musicians, so a musician probably knows their way around effects as well. And so, yeah, I mean, that's honestly, you could see that as like, oh, he's being cheap, not including effects. Or you could also look at it as, he's opening this market to people that, they just need a dry voice, and then he can do whatever. Once the person buys it, they can do whatever they want with it. So then $20. This is an awful lot of. So it just includes sound effects. Is that the only difference? Is a big, and track separation is a big description that doesn't really tell you too much about it. And what's the difference on here? Okay, so this, he has 3, so it's only 1 tag on the basic and the standard, and 3 tags on the premium, which is honestly just triple the price of standard. So you're just ordering standard 3 times. He doesn't offer you any discount there. This wasn't meant to be a judgmental thing on other people's gigs, but yeah. So this gives me some idea, and there are some ideas that I didn't have previously. Like I said, I had a good idea of what I wanted to go into this, but definitely setting things up as a package seems like a good idea. I think I will take the idea of having the first basic package or whatever be dry vocals, because honestly that does make sense to me, and the little bit of clarification kind of cleared it up for me as well. Clarification cleared something up interesting, but yeah. So, and then I still don't know if I'm going to put music, like she had music on, but I also want to make sure not to be as rapid fire as her, or maybe it should be, I don't know. It's working for her, but it's not the sound that I'm going for. So I definitely know that I want to be doing some different auto tunes and stuff. I have some already kind of pre-planned out. So, and I also probably going to be separating these into different files, because for whatever reason, my auto tunes don't. If I have multiple different auto tunes and stuff going on in the same project, it seems to not want to work all the time. So I'm just going to separate them. It's easier for me. You can do it all in the same project if it works for you. I don't know. I'm not a big tech guy, so things confuse me. You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36. Switch 36 on the beat. Switch 36 on the beat. Alright, so I recorded a couple of things here. And again, kind of having a plan with it. Also kind of just winging it once I click record. I do that fairly often. So again, this stuff has auto-tune on it, and it has like a lot of effects and stuff. So, I I don't know, for whatever, not for whatever reason, when I do my normal voiceovers and you're doing the noise cancellation, about 30% is usually about as high as you can go. However, when you're doing robotic voices, I feel like you can get away with 50% pretty easily. So let's take a listen to some of these. I might pitch some of these down as well.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36. Switch 36 on the beat. Switch 36 on the beat. Switch 36 on the beat.
Alright, so I think my favorite is actually this first take on this one, and then the last take here. However, this last one, I think I want to pitch down. Let's just try 2 semitones at the start.
Switch 36 on the beat. Switch 36 on the beat.
And I like these. These are fine. Again, I'm just going to kind of go for a bit of a, not too much of a rapid fire, but I do want to fit in a lot of different styles within, again, different options for the clients. So I feel like these are 2 different enough styles. Let's just go ahead and move on to a different effect, and I'm going to try to do some different voices here.
Switch 36 presents. Switch 36 presents. A Switch 36 production. A Switch 36 production.
So, recorded a few samples here. I'm going to play them back. They're kind of similar, but again, I think I'm going to instinctively pitch these down 2 semitones, and we'll just see what happens.
Switch 36 presents. Switch 36 presents. A Switch 36 production. A Switch 36 production.
Okay, so here I've done a lot of work for this particular voice, and it's something that I worked on for many hours, figuring out, just playing around with effects, different modulators, and all this other stuff. And it is, if you listen to my robotic demo, this is my evil voice. So it is some presets that I already have made up. A few things I did here noteworthy. One of the voices is slightly back, as you can see. They're not quite synced up. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of little things that I cut out, like me adjusting the volumes, and it's a lot going on. But yeah, this isn't a how to do robot voices demo. This is me just messing around with some of the voices. So let's listen to what I have got here.
Switch 36 presents. Switch 36 presents. A Switch 36 production. A Switch 36 production.
Okay, I think I actually like the first takes on both of these. So I will get rid of this one and this one. Oops. And then we have these 2 to add to our samples. And now we have a preset on that. Well, it's not a preset. It's a bunch of effects that I've put together for a preset that I call Spacesuit, which I've had to do some various, recordings of characters that are in a spacesuit. So this is kind of my go-to, at least as a base start, if I need to make adjustments or whatever. But we're going to record some lines with this one.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
Okay, and this one has a lot of distortion to it. So again, we are going to bump that up to 50 on the noise reduction, maybe even a little higher. We'll mess around with it. Let's see.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
Yeah, so for this one, I like the first take better. And yeah, I think that's pretty simple on that one. Okay, so now I think I want to do that reverse echo effect on kind of a basic kind of tone.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
I had to stop on that one. I bit my tongue, so I didn't get that one fully out. But I got 2 takes here regardless.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
So I like this second take better. And so for here, I'm going to show you all how to do the reverse echo buildup. So first step is going to be to simply reverse it. For Mixcraft, it's pretty easy. I just right click it and then click reverse, and so it'll sound like this. Okay, so what it is, I took this line, I added a reverb to it, I rendered it down, and again, it was reversed, you know. So yeah, doesn't really sound like anything yet, but again, a just quick and simple reverse back, and we're going to go ahead and reverse both of these. So then you'll get to see that reverse reverb build up, and again, I have two samples here to pick whichever one I like best.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
I like the way this first one sounds. Now, granted, both of these, it's way too long of a build up on both of them, so I will, adjust the volumes on them so it'll build up much quicker. However, I like this first one. I am going to be a mad scientist for a moment, though. Let's see if we roughly put them next to each other. Let's see what this sounds like.
You're listening to Switch 36.
I kind of like that. I think though, for simplicity's sake, well, I'll just move this here. I'll mute this channel because I don't hate that. Maybe I'll come back to it and I'll change my mind. But for this one, we are going to let's just roughly cut it about there. We want to keep, the intensity here, and we'll just lower that there and see what this sounds like.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Alright, so I do like the way this sounds. However, I want to also add a delay and see what that sounds like.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Alright, so I cut back on the wet mix a little bit just because I felt like it was a little overpowering. There's a lot going on, and I don't want it to just be a blur. So let's try this.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Yeah, so I think that one sounds pretty good. I like that one, so we're going to add this one to the mix. Okay, so until now, I've been pretty quiet with my voice the way that I'm recording, so I'm going to do one where I'm a little bit louder. Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! Alright, so I have these two tracks. I'm going to listen back to them, and I think I'm going to also add some reverb to them later. But let's listen to them real quick. Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! So yeah, I think I like the second, whoops, not what I wanted to do. I think I like the second one better, but I'm just going to want to add the reverb to the delay, the delay to the very end of this track. So I've created a syn track, or bus track here. However, because I don't want the full thing to be, have an echo on it, I want to find where, because let's play it with the echo so you know why I don't want the full echo. Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! So yeah, it's too much. It's too much echo. And also, one thing to keep in mind is when you actually do put things over music, something that can sound like a whole lot can really get kind of lost in the mix. So sometimes it's not as bad as you think it is. However, I really want it to only be on the let me hear that beat, I think is where I want the echo to be. Alright, so what I've done is right here, you just find where the sound starts with whatever, if you wanted to just be on beat, then that's the very last sound here. But I think I'm going to try let me hear that beat and see what that sounds like. So it will, the way I have it here is there's not going to be any echo until let me hear that beat. Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! Okay, so now, that still seems like maybe a bit too much, so I am going to change it to only be here at the very end. Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat! Alright, so what I did was go for a little bit of a compromise here, and then I ramped up. I didn't go from 0 to 100 on the the delay there, I instead have a little bit of a ramp building up to it, and I feel like that sounds a lot better. So, and then there we go. That's another sample created. Alright, so now I have all 7 of my samples here. As I stretch it out, I get a little bit of sense of time. So we're about here at a little past 35, almost 40 seconds. So we could make, probably another 2 or 3, I'd say. And something like that before we hit our 60-second limitation. But I might separate it a little bit once I add some music. So let's firstly just listen to all the samples here together.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Switch 36 on the beat. Switch 36 presents a Switch 36 production.
You're listening to Switch 36. You're listening to Switch 36.
Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat. Alright, so I took this all, I separated in different tracks just so I can individually adjust the volumes a little bit to match better. I added the beat on there, and then, matched the volumes to the beat, obviously, and then also gave me an opportunity to kind of mix around and play with them and put them, because sometimes I recorded some kind of similar ones together, so now they're kind of mixed up. And in different places, and I think I like the way this sounds. I think it's so I cut it a little bit shorter actually, because got rid of some of the space, and especially like where there's a lot of like just long delays and stuff and reverbs, and I kind of like right here, for example, like there is some echoes going on, but I just went ahead and put the next one on just to keep it's a sample, so I want them to stay engaged and hear different things. And somebody might start listening to your sample, listen to a little bit of it, and like, yeah, okay, on to the next one. If there is too much space, in between your different takes. So let's see what I got here.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Hey, Switch, let me hear that beat.
Switch 36 presents
You're listening to Switch 36.
a Switch 36 production.
You're listening to Switch 36.
Switch 36 on the beat.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way this all sounds together now. And so now that I have this complete, and which, it is a bit shorter. It does come out to, roughly 30 seconds or so. A little less than that, I guess. And, the argument could be made, why not just go ahead? You have 60 seconds, use all of it. And I typically do agree with that. With all my other demos, I have extended out to 60 seconds. But for now, I think this sounds good. Like, I think it's got enough. It's got, 7 different things. And I think it sounds good. As I explore more and start doing more, producer tags, because it's not something I've done a lot of. Like I said, I've done it here and there on occasion, but producer tags isn't something I'm known for or very well practiced at. But as I get more ideas and new things, it's very easy for me to add a new sound bit into here, and I can extend the track all the way out. And yeah, it won't be an issue. But for now, I think this is good, and we're gonna move into Fiverr and create our gig.